Welcome to A. Shah's IS Institute, taking a look at editorials for 8th October 2016. The first editorial in the Hindu newspaper is A Nobel Push for Peace in Colombia. This is regarding the Nobel Peace Prize 2016 being awarded to the Colombian President, Juan Manuel Santos. So this was awarded for his initiative to negotiate and finalize a peace deal with a terrorist organization in Colombia, FARC, Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. So this deal came through the mediation of Cuban government too, and it took 4 years of negotiation, and finally the deal was struck. Presently it was put to referendum. This had been in news before too, in October, in the first week of October. So the deal was put to referendum, asking people to give their views. It was not necessary, mandated by the constitution or laws of the country that it should be put to referendum, but the president did, to know the views of the people on this, and the deal was rejected in this by a razor-thin majority. So the thing is that now the deal would be renegotiated, but despite the referendum giving a negative result, the Nobel Peace Prize Committee has honored him with the Peace Prize award, because this is an initiative which brought end to a 52-year-long civil war, resulting in many deaths and displacements of people and bringing peace in the country. So this is justly awarded. The editorial also speaks of other contenders for the Peace Prize. They were the US-Iran nuclear deal, in which a peaceful closure to Iran's nuclear weapon ambitions came forth. So this will play a major role in maintaining peace in the world. And another contender was White Helmets in Syria. This is a group of volunteers in Aleppo town in Syria, where they are working to rescue people injured and stranded in bomb attacks there. So these were two other major contenders. There was also a question whether the FARC leader of this terrorist organization should also have been jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, but that has not taken place, and the committee says that we don't discuss about other contenders who have not been awarded. But there have been cases earlier when even terrorist organization heads who have facilitated bringing in peace have been awarded Nobel Peace Prize. So that is about this. So it concludes that the Peace Prize is a testimonial to the patience required to bring about closure to complex, long-running conflicts, that despite a negative response in the referendum, it has been still favored and awarded the Peace Prize. And even the reasons for it being struck in the referendum is because the deal was considered to be a little too lenient on the terrorist organization. FARC members, they would give up arms, and these would not be prosecuted for war crimes. So there will be lenient punishment to them too. They would be integrated, the members of FARC would be integrated into the Colombian army. The FARC would also be given reservation in legislatures, and they would be allowed to contest elections even for the presidential post. So those were aspects which people did not accept. So there's a huge possibility that the deal would be renegotiated and then finalized. Then the next editorial. So this next editorial is about the Nobel Prizes awarded in 2016 for the science fields, that is physiology of medicine, physics and chemistry. So the Nobel Prize in 2016 for physiology went to Yoshinori Oshumi. This was awarded for his understanding and research on the process of autophagy, which takes place in cells, in human bodies and in organisms. So this autophagy is a fundamental process for degrading and recycling cellular components. So it is the lysosomes where this autophagy process goes in. So what happens is there are vacuoles which are formed, and they are engulfed into membranes and broken down and recycled, and fuel is generated, which helps in furthering the process in the cells. So it provides energy to cells as well. This clear understanding of autophagy was brought forth by him. This will help in even further researches today on treating various diseases like cancer and diseases due to aging, dementia. So it is a major contribution which has been recognized and awarded. So it talks of that. The next Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded for molecular machines. So very small molecule, a single molecule or a group of few molecules can be used to produce machines, nanoscale machines, which can be used in diverse fields. So that is another aspect which has been awarded in the category of chemistry. And the third award which went in physics category was for theoretical explanation of exotic states of material by using the topological concept. All this we have already discussed in detail in the news section. So this was exotic states means from solid, liquid to gas. There are further states also in matter. So in these states the configuration changes and materials can be used for various purposes. There are special properties which generate when they enter into these exotic stages. So that is like superconductivity or magnetism in extremely thin materials. So there is further research still going on this aspect, and there are breakthrough technologies which can be developed based on these ideas. So these are the 3 awards in Nobel Prize for Chemistry which have been discussed in this editorial. Next we look at the question bank. The question bank for 8th October 2016. The first question in the question bank is from history section. It is alleged that Mahatma Gandhi was a racist in his initial years in Africa. How far is this true? How can this contradiction be rationalized? So this is a question. So first of all, we need to know about Mahatma Gandhi's role in Africa. Mahatma Gandhi, we generally know that his period in South Africa, where he went as a lawyer for a Memon brothers. He stayed back over there and fought for the rights of Indians, ex-indentured laborers who were Indians in South Africa. He faced discrimination there, and that is where he developed his whole idea of Satyagraha. And when he came back to India, he started off the freedom movement as the leader by even experimenting here in Champaran, Kheda, and later launching national movements like non-cooperation movement, later civil disobedience, and finally Quit India movement. So the idea is that when he was working in South Africa, he was working for or even fighting for the rights of Indians. So he had neglected Africans and colored people. He had excluded them from his thought process. So that is what an accusation is all about. He was 24-year-old when he went up there, and it was not with the idea of fighting for freedom that he was there. But yes, during those times he experimented. He had supported the British during the Boer Wars. So he had supported the British colonial government in South Africa. In the wars it was fighting over there. So and he had also set up volunteer group. There were stretcher bearers. So soldiers injured in these wars, Boer Wars, were carried on these stretchers by Indians, and this was how they contributed towards the war. So Mahatma Gandhi's idea then was that this initiative or this gesture of the Indians would be rewarded, and in turn they would consider our demands and fulfill them. So this actually did not take place, and later he brought up his idea further and developed the idea of Satyagraha eventually. So now the South African people point out to this, and they say that Gandhi fought only for Indians. He was indifferent to the demands of the Africans and the colored people who were suffering there, to their conditions, and also the terms which were used. So there were derogatory terms. Even Indians were called as coolies by the Britishers there and people there. So that was the general term used for them. So Gandhiji also used such terms. So they call that derogatory, that Mahatma Gandhi used such words for Africans there during those times. But this lead article in the Hindu actually talks of understanding the time and the age of Mahatma Gandhi, and that was not the time when he had become the Mahatma. So those were his initial years when he was evolving and developing his ideas. So it's also like the way Karl Marx, there are many writers on Karl Marx who distinguish between young Karl Marx and older Karl Marx. So mature. So young and mature. So that way even Mahatma Gandhi's ideas need to be understood in the time frame in which they are discussed. This entire present controversy erupts because in June 2016, President Pranab Mukherjee had visited Ghana, an African nation, and he awarded a Gandhi statue to the government there, which was installed in the University of Ghana. But now even the students and the professors, academic people there, and even artists are demanding that this statue be brought down and shifted, relocated. So that is a demand which has come up. So that's what they go back to the old Mahatma Gandhi and saying that he actually was racist. So they are using this allegation against him. Though it is known that even South Africa got its independence through the fight of a Gandhian, Nelson Mandela. who even became the first president in South Africa. So these were even African leaders were looked up. They looked up on to Mahatma Gandhi. So now such a derogatory term used for Mahatma Gandhi is uncalled for. But yeah, it is true. The lead article also says that the present economic scenario too, when economic exploitation and some form of neo-colonialism which is going on in Africa, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, where the developing countries or these leading countries of Asia, India and China, are fighting for access to resources in these countries, land acquisition in these countries without having regards for the people and their economic development, is also one reason for people developing resistance against India and Mahatma Gandhi too. So that is also said. But yes, of course there were contradictions. Another stand of Mahatma Gandhi which created controversy is his support for the caste system. He said that caste system means the 4 castes in the Vedas, mentioned in the Vedas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, should be upheld. So he did not reject the caste system. He called that for not being this caste not being decided by birth. So only that hereditary aspect of caste system was rejected by him, but the caste system as such, means the hierarchy as such in the society, was what he upheld. So of course that also created controversy. So there are some such viewpoints. Apart from that also, as we have to segregate between his ideas during his youth and ideas after he matured his entire framework of satyagraha and political viewpoints. So that segregation should also be there. So that is how history will judge him. But then eventually it does not matter whether his statue is removed, whether a road is renamed or not. He fought for India's independence. We look up to him and he is a Mahatma. So that's what it is. The second question in the question bank is, what is the difference between active and passive euthanasia? Discuss the judicial and government stand on the matter. So euthanasia means something what we generally know as mercy killing. So over a decade now, there have been legislations being put forth on euthanasia. There have been court cases going on, and Supreme Court has also given its viewpoints on euthanasia. So it's actually the right to die. So it's actually under Article 21(2), where right to life is provided. So right to life with dignity has always been upheld by the Supreme Court. So if you are bedridden and not able to live a dignified life, do you have a right to die as well? That is a question which is put forth before the judiciary. Till now date, there is no law on euthanasia in India. But yes, there is something called active and passive euthanasia. We'll discuss that also. So this whole issue had got very much prominence due to the Aruna Shanbhag case. Aruna Shanbhag was a nurse in KM hospital, and she was raped and put into this vegetative state by a ward boy there, and she had been bedridden for years now. She remained in this vegetative state. The nurses in KM hospital took great care of her. Even the Supreme Court in this matter had granted mercy killing, allowed it, but eventually she got a natural death. The nurses refused to remove the life support system from her, and they continued to have her alive, though she could not. She was completely in a vegetative state. We don't know whether she could understand something or not too. But yes, eventually she died in 2015. So this entire controversy has erupted since then. So in 2011 verdict of the Supreme Court, it had backed passive euthanasia, but not active one. So active euthanasia basically means that an active, proactive action taken and facilitating the death of the person. Means like injecting some lethal injection, or using some way to bring an end to the person's life because he is suffering so much. And passive euthanasia basically means that the person independently could not have survived, but because of a life support system, his life is being continued. This is generally true for people in vegetative state. So if the life support system is removed, he will die. So in such cases, this is called passive euthanasia, when the support system medically which is being provided is removed. So that passive euthanasia is allowed, and that too on a case-by-case basis. When the High Court approves it, only then. So that has been the judicial stand, since there is no law in the country on this matter yet. The central government says that we are working on a law for this purpose, and we'll put forth a bill regarding this. But since the matter is in the court, so we have to consider what should be done. And even the center says that we are in favor of only passive euthanasia and not active